Ready? Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming to my performance, Shelters in Direct Strike. While my introduction and first part of the performance, I would offer you to sit on the tribunes. Before we start, I would like to make two notes about the space, which I find important. First of all, behind me you can see a projection with a map of Ukraine. It is a real-time map which is showing in which region air raid alert is happening right now. It is not only for air raid alerts, but also for some other types of threats. And some of the regions, as you see, are marked with red. These are ones where alert is happening right now. Ones which are gray, they are no alert. Also, my phone is also connected to this map through the special app, which is sending me loud notification every time when a raid is happening in one of the 5 regions of Ukraine, which I chose myself. I chose those 5 regions because they are connected to me personally. First of them is Kyivska region, where Kyiv city is located, and I was living in the city for a while. I have a lot of acquaintances there, and I love the city a lot. Second region is Kharkivska region. It is a region where a city Kharkiv is located, and it was the first big city I saw in my life when I went there in my childhood. Also, I have a lot of acquaintances there as well. For example, Max Telezhny, who is a break dancer, as me as well, and who is also doing a lot of volunteer work right now in this region. Third region is Chernihivska region. This is a region where some of my relatives are living. I do not know them well. To be honest, I even don't remember their names. They're my grand aunt and my cousins. I remember the face of one of the cousins because I remember how I met her, but I even don't remember her name because it was when I was a child. Although I'm not so close to them, I know that my mom is, and she's having calls with them regularly, and I don't know why, but I still, every time I call her, I ask how they are, how they're doing. Last 2 regions are Luganska and Donetska regions. These are 2 regions where my grandparents are from. I have only one grandma alive for now, until now, but these regions mean a lot for me because I spent a lot of time there when I was a child, and basically my parents were living there half of their lives. Yeah, and last thing I would like to say that notifications are quite loud and can be disturbing. So if you hear them, keep calm, don't panic, and enjoy the show. It is happening not here in Berlin, but in Ukraine. Thank you.
I am recording it without pre-written text because I would like to stay as transparent with you as possible. Of course, it is not total improvisation. I have bullet points in front of me right now, so I do not forget what I want to talk about. Also, this recording is developing in a dialogue with my tutor, mentors, collaborators, colleagues, friends, who I show my work during the rehearsal period. But still, I prefer to keep the quality of my voice, not reading the text to you, but talking to you. That's why I do not write anything down. And I would like to apologize beforehand if my speech is a bit blurry or unclear sometimes, or grammatically incorrect, or my wording is a bit clumsy. It is just because I didn't write it down. I would like to start from a little bit of a background. I am Ukrainian, and since February 2022, I'm constantly living in a context of ongoing war in my country. I did not leave Ukraine after February, when full-scale invasion started. I've been living in Europe already, in Spain, where I was studying at the dance program. So when war started, I was relatively in safety. I think it is important to note because my experience is very different from people who were escaping the country under missiles and drones. And I would like to emphasize it, not to devaluate my own experience, but be honest about some guilt I have inside me. Although I haven't been in Ukraine when war started, I still have my family in Ukraine, my parents, my relatives, a lot of acquaintances in different regions of Ukraine. I do not have my close friends in Ukraine anymore, although one of them wants to come back to Kyiv soon, and I worry about it, not gonna lie, especially because he's male. So anyway, the context in which I'm living is a war context. Idea of this performance appeared last fall when I was experiencing quite severe depressive episode, but I was still coming to the studio weekly, and usually I wasn't doing anything in the studio. I wasn't dancing or working on something. Usually I prefer just being in the space, laying on the floor, playing some mobile games. When I was on the studio floor, I could take different positions. Sometimes I was laying on my belly, using my elbows as support, or I can just lay like this, or I was also holding the phone in my hands. Also, I liked to lay in the position which would twist my spine or stretch my body in some way, because I have problems with my spine and I needed getting twisted. Sometimes I was laying on my side, trying to relax my arms and legs. Once I fall asleep laying face down, and I was in this position for like 2 hours and woke up with pain in my forehead and my nose. In some moment, I understood that studio became some kind of shelter for me. It became a place of refuge where I could go and escape the war context, where I did not have to talk about war, watch Instagram posts about war, talk about war with my parents, my friends, even with myself. I could just be here. I could be in this very spacious room with a lot of light, big windows, just being with myself in a silence, listening to birds. When word shelter came to my mind, I started to develop this thought in my head and think, can studio be not only emotional shelter for me, but also physical shelter? Can studio protect me not only mentally from the context I'm living in, but also physically? If in one moment I will need protection from bombs, drones, explosives of different kinds, can studio protect me? And if not, how can I change this space so I can be more physically protected as well? I started to investigate the space, and very fast it became clear that, of course, studio cannot protect me physically. But I was trying to think how it can be changed. I was thinking that I can use theater curtains to close the huge windows, which would become very big danger in terms of, in case of blast. That I can fix curtains on the windows with tape, so they would stop shards. I was thinking that in case of air raid, I can hide under the tribunes, because they are made of platforms which can hold 700 kilograms each. I researched about side walls of the studio, which contain fireproof and soundproof panels inside. And although they made out of plasterboard, being near them, it is more safe because it is inner walls and they don't have windows on them. besides observing the space, I also started to research the topic in different dimensions. I started to read a lot about shelters, to go through guidelines during the air raids. I started to watch a lot of lectures, for example, about different kinds of shelters, historical references, and something more connected to modern warfare. And at the same time, I also started to talk with people. In total, I took 8 interviews with people who were experiencing sheltering during the air raid or being under air raid. It was very different people. Some of them are from context of the war in my country, some of them not. But as a researcher, I was interested in looking to the topic through different lenses of different people and different bodies. Those people are from different regions of the world. Military warfare which they were in is also very different. These people have different gender, different skin color, and different conditions and accessibility to shelters. Taking those interviews was an intense experience for me, but I think even more intense experience was working with them afterwards. I very much wanted to place them in a space, especially because 3 of them took place in this studio. You can see in front of you beanbag next to the left wall of the studio, 2 chairs in the middle of the room, 2 chairs next to the right wall of the studio, and white table. Chairs and beanbag, those are places where interview took place in the studio, and 3 more interview on the white table. Those are ones which I took outside of the studio or online. On these pages you can see are not texts of the interviews, because first of all, I do not have a consent to share them fully with so many people. So I decided, instead of text of interviews, put there excerpts from my personal diaries, which I was writing during the process of my research. And each excerpt is connected with one of the interviews which were taken. Right now, they can be very technical,
would like to
they can be emotional, they can be about interview itself or about
offer
how
you
I felt
an
after.
encounter with those interviews. And I would like to invite 12 people of the audience into the space. It is only 6 texts. That's why I offer to do it in 2 groups. So first I would like to invite 12 people, and after you will finish reading the texts, you can sit on the cushions next to the left wall. Feel free to read all the texts or to stay with one of them. Take a position which you like in the space. Read them in silence or out loud. So I leave these decisions to you. After first group will finish reading, I will give a little signal to the second group so they can enter the space too.